Hey everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm doing another driving video. I'd probably be doing a couple of these today because I just have a lot of stuff to do today. So this video is about the recent jumping of the shark or selling out, or they got to him, of a certain Jesse Ventura, and my thoughts on this whole thing happening, which really is pretty damn sad. So all right, so I guess a couple of years ago, he did vote for Tim Walz. He lives in Minnesota, at least part of the year. Who's is a current Democratic vice presidential candidate, and he has been pretty, starting to kind of go more establishment. So just as a little history about Jesse Ventura, I got into him way back when I Ain't Got Time to Bleed came out in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I thought he had a refreshing political take, especially as he got way more distanced from the two major parties, and he started to be really, I mean, some would say he was a conspiracy theorist and stuff, and, you know, buddied with Alex Jones and other people, which is true, but he had a fresh take on even a lot of that stuff. He had more tried to research things in a good way. He wasn't like James Corbett of the Corbett Report, but he was like kind of had this populist thing. He went more left, you know, as time went on, rather than just like centrist populist, center right maybe at one point, but you know, and that was fine because he still peppered it with a lot of, you know, reasonable common sense things, in my opinion. But recently, I guess he did want to be RFK's vice presidential candidate or something at one point. But recently, he's come out full-throated support, pun unintended for obvious reasons, for sorry, a little sexist joke in there, for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Now, Tim Walz, his defense of his, military stuff, that's a way more complicated issue that I don't want to go into in this video. The Iraq War was an abomination. So, this right wing turned to militaristic neocon, kind of oh my God, he abandoned his unit because he didn't want to go to a war that was based on a lie. That's so bad. I have mixed feelings about that. I'm not pro-military by any means. I'm pretty anti-jingoist. I don't believe in, I'm kind of an anarchist in some ways. I don't believe in nation states really in some ways. Just like this artificial bullshit that people follow all the time. Same with a lot of other stuff, of course. So he came out in defense of him, but it went beyond that. He's full-blooded support for Kamala Harris, and she'll be the first black female president, blah blah blah. That was just totally defying everything he's said for the past 25 plus years of the two-party state. I think there might have been a point where he sort of endorsed Obama, but it was a very different time when Bush was the existential threat. But Bush was more of a threat in this real sense that people had. It wasn't just this cartoonish kind of Trump thing, I'm not saying that Trump has, great priorities or ideas, but Bush, we thought we were going to have World War III. Now we're in, essentially Biden did some stuff that, he supported that are pushing us towards World War III. How the odds have changed. How has everything changed? I'm not saying Trump wouldn't pursue the same stuff, because obviously he would pursue a lot of the same stuff, if not worse sometimes. So this long story short, he supported Obama at some point, and then he got disappointed and he just kind of turned against Obama. Was more third party from that on for a while. As far as I remember, I don't remember what he said about Obama, but he was against a lot of what was going on with all that. I don't know if I'm not sure. I seem to remember this, and I could be wrong. People could correct me, that he was at one point for Obama, but very short-lived anyways. So this whole thing's just it's just selling out. I think they got to him. I think that, he was I don't know if they got to him. I just think he's old and he's just kind of, settling in his ways, and he's kind of. There's a lot of speculation. Due Dissidents did a pretty good segment on this. If you go watch, I don't know what happened to Jesse Ventura. I could speculate a lot of different things, but Tyrell Ventura, big time truther for a lot of different stuff. Back in the day, his son did a lot of research on that end. Friends with Oliver Stone. There's a lot of stuff to say there, and I don't think Oliver Stone is a big fan of. I doubt he's a big fan of Kamala Harris. I could be wrong, but it's just really disappointing for that. If he said Jill Stein, I'm supporting Jill Stein all the way, or even some of the other third parties, that would be a different story. And even if he's a leftoid, you can say what you will. At least he's consistent. But this Kamala Harris thing, it's pretty disheartening and depressing, honestly. Kamala Harris represents the establishment. She has billionaire backers. She has billions, millions of dollars that people are funneling towards her. A totally astroturfed coronation coup d'etat campaign taken, away from Biden. No open convention, no open primaries under Biden either, or hardly any primary. I mean, there were not open primaries. I didn't mean that. There were primaries that were eliminated, in the Democrat primary in 2024. So the DNC eliminated some of the primaries and stuff that were happening. So there's no democracy. We do not have a democracy in America. Of course, there is that Oxford study, but I'm not even talking about that. But it's just all these ideas. So no, I don't like what Jesse Ventura has to say about Kamala Harris. It's really, really disheartening compared to, it's especially considering what he said about the two parties being Democrats and Republicans. Actually, Ice-T Body Count has a song where they basically reiterate a lot of those ideas. A new song, brand new. I'm like, this is song of the year. This is the best song I've heard. And it's actually good musically too, like Body Count's new song. I'm mixed, been mixed bag with Body Count. Their first one's a classic, Cop Killer / Body Count, because they had to change the name because of the record company pulled the album or whatever back in the day. These were the culture wars of yesteryear that I lived through at times, So, but this new song by Body Count is pretty kick-ass. I really liked it. I love that first album. The second one's not as good, but it has some good stuff. I can't remember the third one. Was that the one? I've lost track of Body Count albums. I kind of got I think Manslaughter was the last one I heard all the way through. The riffing style, I kind of, I love the riffing style of the first one because it has that crossover thrash punk metal kind of thing. But the later stuff. Anyways, I'm kind of off on a tangent now, but about that. But yeah, I recommend listening to that new, some of those new Body Count songs because the music's back too to some extent, and I like the lyrics about bashing both parties. But that was his bread and butter. I almost said George Carlin. Jesse Ventura's bread and butter for a long time. It was talking about the corruption inherent in both parties, and this is just total sellout, total cowardice on his part. Maybe he wants some kind of new deal with some major mainstream media thing or something. He was blacklisted for a long time. Basically, he had to go through I think he was on the Iranian thing for a while, RT kind of stuff. He was doing for a while. He was blacklisted from American media because of some of his opinions and some of what he said, about 9/11 and all this stuff. And now he's just maybe he's trying to get a major some deal or something. Who knows? Maybe he wants some retirement money. I don't know. I'm just speculating, and I don't like what happened. I don't like what he said about this shit. It's just so annoying. And my opinion on Tim Walz, I might do a separate video, but mixed bag. Obviously he supports Israel pretty wholeheartedly, as the statements have said in the past. The riot stuff about his wife smelling the burning tires outside the window is complete pure cringe from a ruling class rich person to say that. Oh, I smell the burning tires, and it just gave me this sense of. Some of his stuff is pretty cringe. Some of the Coof stuff, pretty bad. The hotline to report people. I don't think even Wisconsin had that. Pretty milquetoast compared to that kind of stuff here. I mean, in comparison, of course, what would they do? Because Minnesota is more blue than Wisconsin. So, I mean, what would they say? Like these Republican townships all over the place. I hate how the Coof became like this inter-party squabble. Or not inter-party, party squabble between the parties. It was pretty cringe. So that stuff, along with some of this other stuff, and I'm not sure about a lot of this stuff. Free school lunches, that's great for kids. That's great, But he's kind of the left cover for Kamala to do her really bad stuff if she became president. Oh, we have Tim Walz, he's a progressive. So it's they always do that. That's what they do. So fuck Tim Walz, fuck Kamala Harris, fuck Jesse Ventura. Make love to Jill Stein, especially back in the day. Hippy dippy, doesn't shave her armpits, eats a lot of granola, farts out marijuana, marijuana brownies. So, yeah. Vote for Jill Stein, vote for third parties. Other than that, maybe not the Libertarian, just anybody else other than the two-party system. That's what I support. Support your third parties. They're independent candidates. Don't support the two-party duopoly. Really is that evil. Fuck Joe Biden. Let's go Brandon. Fuck Kamala. Not literally. Anyways, that's about all.